After 3,000 years in hiding, humans strike back at the council that destroyed Earth. The alarm rang through the hollow asteroid at exactly 0600 hours. Daejung opened his eyes and stared at the metal ceiling above his bed. Another day in hiding, another day of waiting, but something felt different this morning. He got dressed in his gray uniform and walked through the narrow corridors of New Haven. The asteroid colony had been humanity's home for 3,000 years. Carved deep into rock and ice, it floated in the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, far from the eyes of the Galactic Council. Thousands of people lived here, descendants of the survivors who escaped when Earth died. Daejung reached the command center and found Hana already at her station. She was checking the readouts from their sensor network, her fingers moving quickly across the holographic displays. She looked tired. They all looked tired these days. Anything new? Daejung asked. Hana turned to him. The same council patrol route. They're getting closer, though. Another few months and they might detect our outer markers. Daejung nodded slowly. The council had destroyed Earth 3,000 years ago. They said humans were too violent, too dangerous to exist alongside the civilized species of the galaxy. Their warships had burned the planet until nothing lived. Oceans boiled away. Cities turned to glass. 7 billion people died in a single day. But not everyone died. 500,000 humans made it onto generation ships and fled into the dark. They hid in the outer solar system, in places no one would look. They built colonies inside asteroids and beneath the ice of frozen moons. They survived. Where's Taiman? Daejung asked. Still working on the council communications network, Hana said. He hasn't slept in 2 days. Daejung found Taiman in the intelligence room, surrounded by screens showing alien text and symbols. Taiman was their best code breaker. He had spent years learning the council's languages, studying their security systems, finding ways to listen to their secrets. You need rest, Daejung said. Taiman didn't look up. I'm close to something. The council is planning new mining operations. They want to expand into the Kuiper Belt. They're looking for rare metals. Daejung felt his stomach tighten. When? 6 months? Maybe less. Taiman finally turned to face him. His eyes were bloodshot. They'll find us, Daejung. We can't hide forever. The words hung in the air between them. It was the truth everyone knew, but no one wanted to say out loud. 3,000 years of hiding, of building in secret, of planning and waiting. It was coming to an end. Daejung left the intelligence room and went to the training bay. Jiwoo was there, running combat simulations in her fighter pod. She was young, barely 22, but she flew like she was born in space. Her reaction time was better than anyone in the colony. Commander on deck, someone shouted. At ease, Daejung said. He watched Jiwoo complete her simulation. She destroyed 6 enemy fighters without taking a hit. When she climbed out of the pod, she was grinning. New personal record, she said. Good, Daejung replied. You might need those skills soon. Her grin faded. Are we going to fight them? I don't know yet, but he did know. Deep down, he had always known. The council would never stop looking. They would never feel safe while humans existed. And humans would never be free while the council ruled the galaxy. That evening, Daejung attended the Council of Elders meeting. These were the leaders of all the hidden human colonies scattered across the solar system. They met in virtual reality, their holographic forms sitting around a circular table. Elder Myung-soo spoke first. We have a decision to make. Taiman's intelligence is clear. The council mining fleets will be in the Kuiper Belt within 6 months. They will find our colonies. We must choose now. Do we run again or do we fight? Run where? Elder Bokyung asked. We've been running for 3,000 years. There's nowhere left to hide in the solar system. Then we fight, said Elder Dong-hyun. We've been preparing for this. Our technology is better than theirs now. We can win, can we? Myung-soo looked around the table. We have 50,000 fighters. The council has millions. We have 200 warships. They have fleets that darken the stars. Numbers aren't everything, Hana said. She had joined the meeting as chief engineer. We have weapons they've never seen. Technology they don't understand. We've had 3,000 years to study them while they forgot we existed. Daejung stood up. We vote now. Everyone who wants to continue hiding, raise your hand. No hands went up. Everyone who wants to fight, every hand rose. The decision was made. Operation Reawakening would begin immediately. Daejung spent the next weeks planning. He met with Hana about the weapons systems. He trained with Jiwoo and the other pilots. He worked with Taemin to identify Council weak points. Every moment was focused on one goal, striking back at the species that had murdered their world. Late one night, Hana found him in the observation dome. He was staring out at the stars, at the distant sun that had once warmed Earth. "Can't sleep?" she asked. "I keep thinking about Earth," Daejung said. "My ancestors lived there. They saw blue skies and breathed real air. They walked on soil, not metal floors." Hana stood beside him. "We'll see Earth again someday." "It's dead, Hana. The Council made sure of that. Dead things can come back to life," she said softly. "We did." Daejung looked at her. In the dim light of distant stars, he saw something he hadn't noticed before. Hope. After 3,000 years of hiding, humans still had hope. "The first strike happens in 3 days," he said. "Sung-Ho will take his stealth ship and disable their listening post near Neptune. After that, there's no going back." "I know," Hana said. "But maybe going back isn't what we need. Maybe we need to go forward." 3 days later, Daejung stood in the command center and watched the tactical display. Sung-Ho's ship, the Silent Revenge, was approaching the Council listening post. It was invisible to their sensors, a ghost in the dark. "Weapons range in 30 seconds, Sung-Ho reported. Daejung took a deep breath. 3,000 years of hiding ended now. 3,000 years of fear and waiting and planning. It all came down to this moment. "Fire when ready," Daejung said. The listening post disappeared from the display. No explosion, no debris. Just gone. Pulled apart at the molecular level by weapons the Council didn't know existed. Across the solar system, in every hidden colony, humans watched and waited. Their commander had struck the first blow. After 3,000 years in hiding, humanity had just declared war on the most powerful empire in the galaxy, and there was no turning back. After 3,000 years in hiding, humans strike back at the Council that destroyed Earth. The fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system like a swarm of angry stars. 10,000 Council warships, each one capable of destroying a city. They moved in perfect formation, blocking out the distant sun as they advanced toward the Kuiper Belt. Admiral Young-sik watched them on his tactical display. He stood on the bridge of the Eternal Earth, humanity's flagship. Around him, his crew worked in silence. They all knew what was coming. "Enemy fleet has entered the belt," his sensor officer reported. "They're spreading out in a search pattern. Estimated time until they find New Haven, 4 hours. All human ships, this is Admiral Young-sik." He spoke into the fleet-wide channel. "Take your positions. Remember your training. Remember Earth. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not die quietly." Across the Kuiper Belt, human ships powered up their weapons. 200 warships against 10,000. The odds were terrible, but the humans had advantages. They knew this territory. They had better technology, and they were fighting for their survival. Daejung watched from New Haven's command center. Beside him, Hana monitored the weapon systems. Taemin coordinated intelligence. Every human colony in the solar system was watching, waiting to see if their species would survive the day. "The Council fleet is divided into 3 groups," Taemin reported. "Cormac is leading the center group personally. He's in the Dreadnought Endless Authority." "That's his mistake," Daejung said. "He thinks he's won already. He's not being careful." "Contact in 1 hour," Hana said quietly. "Daejung, even with our technology, the numbers are against us. We might not survive this." Daejung took her hand. "Then we make every shot count." Jiwoo sat in the cockpit of her fighter waiting for the launch order. Around her, hundreds of other pilots did the same. They were the tip of the spear, the first wave that would hit the Council fleet. Many of them would not come back. Her wing leader's voice came through her headset. "All fighters, prepare for launch. Target the enemy command ships. Hit them fast and hard, then break away before they can lock weapons on you." "Understood," Jiwoo replied. Her hands were steady on the controls. She had trained for this her entire life. Now it was real. "Launch in 30 seconds, the controller said. "Good luck, pilots. Make your ancestors proud." The hangar doors opened. Space beckoned beyond. Jiwoo took a deep breath and pushed her throttle forward. Her fighter shot out into the darkness, followed by hundreds of others. They formed up in attack formation and accelerated toward the Council fleet. The Council ships detected them immediately. Weapons came online. Shields activated. But the human fighters were fast. Faster than anything the Council had seen before. They darted between the massive warships like insects too quick to target. Ji-woo locked onto a council command cruiser and fired. Her plasma cannons punched through its shields and tore into the hull. Explosions blossomed across the enemy ship's surface. She didn't wait to see the damage. She was already turning, already targeting another ship. Around her, the battle erupted into chaos. Human fighters swarmed the council fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness. Ships burned and died on both sides. Then Admiral Young-sik's battle fleet arrived. The Eternal Earth led the charge, its quantum displacement drive allowing it to appear right in the middle of the council formation. The council ships turned to face this new threat. And that's when Young-sik revealed humanity's secret weapon. "Fire the resonance cannons," Young-sik ordered. The Eternal Earth's main weapons opened up. They didn't fire projectiles or energy beams. They fired waves of quantum disruption that passed through shields like they didn't exist. The council ships hit by these weapons simply tore apart, their hulls breaking down at the molecular level. "All ships, focus fire on the enemy formation," Young-sik commanded. "Break them apart. Don't let them reorganize." The human fleet carved through the council ships like a knife, but the council had numbers. For every ship the humans destroyed, 2 more took its place. Slowly, the council fleet adapted. They learned to avoid the resonance cannons. They focused their fire on individual human ships. The destroyer Dawn's Hope exploded under concentrated fire. The cruiser New Horizon took a direct hit and went dark. Human ships were dying, and the battle had only just begun. While the main fleets fought in open space, Captain Sung-ho led a stealth strike on a different target. His team of infiltration ships approached the Endless Authority from behind, invisible to sensors. Their mission was simple but nearly impossible. Board the enemy flagship and capture High Chancellor Cormac. "We're approaching the docking bay," Sung-ho said to his Marines. "Remember, we need him alive. He has information we need." They cut through the hull and entered the ship. Immediately, alarms blared. Council security forces rushed to meet them. The corridors became a war zone. Sung-ho's team fought through the ship deck by deck. The council soldiers had superior numbers, but the human Marines had better armor and weapons. Still, the cost was high. Half of Sung-ho's team died in the first 10 minutes. "Keep pushing," Sung-ho ordered. "We're close to the command deck." But waiting for them was Taemin's worst nightmare. A council intelligence unit had intercepted their communications. They knew humans were on the ship. They had prepared an ambush. When Sung-ho's team reached the command deck, they walked into a trap. Energy barriers locked them in. Armed guards surrounded them from all sides. And standing in the center of it all was High Chancellor Cormac himself. "So this is what humanity has become," Cormac said. He was tall and muscular with scales that gleamed like metal. "Skulking in the shadows. Striking from hiding. You proved that we were right to destroy your world." "You murdered billions of innocents," Sung-ho replied. "I eliminated a threat to galactic peace. You eliminated witnesses to your crimes." Cormac's expression changed. "So you know about that. Clever, but it won't save you." Back in the main battle, things were going badly for the humans. They had destroyed hundreds of council ships, but thousands remained. Admiral Young-sik's fleet was being slowly surrounded. Then Jae-hyun made his move. He had been waiting for this moment, when all the council ships were focused on the battle. When their attention was divided, he activated the virus he had planted in their networks months ago. Across the council fleet, ships lost power. Weapons went offline. Shields flickered and died. It only lasted 30 seconds, but 30 seconds was enough. "All ships fire everything," Young-sik shouted. The human fleet unleashed a devastating barrage. Council ships exploded by the dozens. The perfect enemy formation dissolved into chaos. But Jae-hyun's virus had a cost. To spread it, he had to broadcast a signal from his base in Jupiter's atmosphere. The signal revealed his location. Council ships detected it and locked weapons on the coordinates. "They found us," Jae-hyun said to his team. "Evacuate, now. What about you?" Mi-young asked over the communication channel. "Someone has to keep the virus running. Buy our fleet more time. Get to the escape pods. I'll follow." But they both knew he was lying. There wouldn't be time. The council missiles struck Jae-hyun's base 3 minutes later. The explosion was visible from space, a bright flash in Jupiter's clouds. Jae-hyun and his entire hacking team died instantly. On New Haven, Dae-jung watched it happen. He felt a cold rage building in his chest. Another friend gone. Another sacrifice in a war that had already cost humanity too much. "Taemin," Dae-jung said quietly, Broadcast Cormac's private communications. Everything we stole. Let the galaxy see who he really is. Taimin uploaded the files to every channel he could reach. Across the galaxy, citizens of the Council species watched as their High Chancellor's secrets were revealed. Communications showing him ordering the destruction of innocent worlds, messages proving he had falsified evidence, records of bribes and threats and lies. The effect was immediate. In the battle, some Council ships stopped fighting. Their crews refused to die for a leader who had betrayed everything the Council claimed to stand for. Other ships turned on each other as old rivalries erupted. The Velkar fleet, which had been hanging back, suddenly switched sides. They opened fire on the Council ships nearest to them. Bora's alliance had worked. The Velkar were joining the fight against Cormac. On the Endless Authority, Cormac watched his fleet fall apart. His perfect trap had become his downfall. In his rage, he made a mistake. He turned away from Sung Ho for just a moment. It was enough. Sung Ho broke free from his restraints and tackled the High Chancellor. The two of them crashed to the floor. Council guards rushed forward, but Sung Ho's remaining Marines opened fire, creating chaos. In the confusion, Sung Ho pressed his weapon against Cormac's head. "Order your fleet to stand down." "Never," Cormac snarled. "Then you die here, and your legacy dies with you." Cormac looked around. His ship was in chaos. His fleet was falling apart. His secrets were exposed to the galaxy. He had lost. "Stand down," he said quietly into his communicator. "All ships cease fire. The battle ended." The silence was deafening. After 3,000 years in hiding, humans strike back at the Council. That destroyed Earth Captain Sung Ho guided his ship through the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. The silent revenge was completely invisible to Council sensors. It had no heat signature, no electromagnetic emissions, nothing that would tell the universe it existed. The Council had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, but they had never seen technology like this. "Next target is the relay station orbiting Ceres," his navigator said. "Council security patrol passes every 4 hours. We have a 20-minute window." Sung Ho checked his weapons. The molecular disruptor was charged and ready. One shot would break apart the station's hull at the atomic level. There would be no explosion, no debris field, nothing to investigate. The station would simply stop existing. "Take us in," Sung Ho ordered. While Sung Ho hunted in the asteroid belt, Jae Hyun worked in a different kind of darkness. His base was hidden deep in Jupiter's atmosphere, where the pressure would crush any Council ship that tried to follow. Here, floating in the toxic clouds, he and his team of hackers broke into the Council's communication networks. "I'm inside their security mainframe," Jae Hyun said to his team. "Planting the ghost protocols now." The ghost protocols were beautiful in their simplicity. They made Council sensors see things that weren't there. Phantom ships, false distress signals, equipment failures that didn't really exist. The Council had eyes everywhere in the galaxy, but now those eyes were starting to lie to them. Mi Young watched Jae Hyun work from her station. She was a xenobiologist, someone who studied alien life and psychology. She had spent her entire life learning how the Council species thought, how they made decisions, how they could be manipulated. "The krill species are naturally paranoid," Mi Young said. "When their ships start reporting false contacts, they'll blame the Vex. The Vex are arrogant. They'll assume the krill are incompetent. The tension between them will grow. And while they're fighting each other, they won't be looking for us." Jae Hyun finished. He smiled. "I like the way you think." Back in New Haven, Daejung reviewed the reports. In 3 weeks, Sung Ho had destroyed 17 Council installations. All of them had simply vanished. The Council was investigating, but they found nothing. No weapon signatures, no evidence of attack. Their stations were just gone. "They think it's equipment failure," Taemin reported. "Their engineers are scrambling to figure out what's wrong with their technology. Some of them think it's a new form of spatial anomaly." "Let them think that," Daejung said. "What about the mining fleet?" "They entered the Kuiper Belt 2 days ago." Taemin pulled up a star chart. "They're heading toward our old position at Sector 7. "Our old position," Hana repeated. "We moved the colonies last month." Daejung nodded. "They'll find nothing but empty rock, but we need to make sure they keep looking in the wrong places." Jiwoo sat in the briefing room with her squadron. They were the best pilots humanity had, trained since childhood for this moment. Daejung had given them a new mission, and it was dangerous. "You're going to let them see you," Daejung explained. "Just for a moment." You'll appear on their sensors, fire a few shots, then disappear before they can get a weapons lock. Make them think they're being attacked by raiders or pirates. You want us to be bait, Jiwoo said. I want you to be ghosts. Appear, cause chaos, vanish. Make them paranoid. Make them see threats everywhere. Jiwoo's squadron launched from New Haven at midnight. Their fighters were small and fast, coated in materials that absorbed radar and sensor beams. They approached the Council mining fleet from the dark side of a comet. I have targeting lock on their command ship, Jiwoo said. Fire one burst, then full retreat, her wing leader ordered. Jiwoo pressed the trigger. Bright blue plasma bolts shot across space and struck the Council command ship's shields. Alarms blared on the enemy vessel. Their weapons came online, searching for targets, but Jiwoo and her squadron were already gone, disappearing into the comet's ice field where sensors couldn't track them. On the Council command ship, the captain stared at his tactical display in confusion. His sensors had detected the attack for exactly 3 seconds. Then nothing. His weapons officer reported no targets. His scanner showed empty space. What just hit us? The captain demanded. Unknown, sir. The weapon signature doesn't match anything in our database. Search the area. Find them, but there was nothing to find. The ghosts had already vanished. Weeks passed. Sung-ho continued his silent war, destroying Council installations across the solar system. Jae-hyun's ghost protocols infected more Council networks, creating confusion and paranoia. Jiwoo's squadron conducted hit-and-run attacks on patrol ships and mining operations, and all of it happened in ways the Council couldn't understand or predict. Then came the opportunity Daejung had been waiting for. Taemin intercepted a communication about a Council diplomat traveling through the outer system. The ship would pass within range of New Haven. It's not just any diplomat, Taemin said. It's Counselor Vexthal himself, one of the 5 high counselors who rule the galaxy. Daejung called an emergency meeting. If we capture a counselor, we can learn their secrets, their military codes, their political weaknesses. It's risky, Hana warned. His ship will have heavy security. That's why I'm sending our best. Daejung looked at Jiwoo. Think you can disable a counselor's ship without destroying it? Jiwoo's eyes lit up. I can do better than that. I can make it look like an accident. The mission launched 3 days later. Jiwoo led a team of 6 fighters. They waited in the shadow of a large asteroid as Vexthal's ship approached. It was massive, 3 times the size of any human vessel, covered in weapons and armor. That's a lot of firepower, one of her pilots said nervously. We're not here to fight it, Jiwoo said. We're here to break it. She targeted the ship's engine manifolds, the weak points Mi-young had identified. One precise shot in the right place and the engines would shut down without exploding. The ship would be disabled but intact. Firing now, Jiwoo said. Her plasma bolt struck true. The counselor's ship shuddered and went dark. Emergency lights flickered on as backup systems engaged. Boarding teams, go, Jiwoo ordered. Sung-ho's ship emerged from stealth next to the disabled vessel. His marines cut through the hull and entered. There was a brief firefight, but the Council security forces were confused and disorganized. Within minutes, Sung-ho had control of the bridge. He found Vexthal in his private quarters. The counselor was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. He didn't look afraid. He looked angry. Do you know what you've done? Vexthal said in perfect human language. Attacking a counselor is a death sentence for your entire species. Our species already has a death sentence, Sung-ho replied. You gave it to us 3,000 years ago. Vexthal's expression changed. Recognition flickered in his alien eyes. Humans, but you're all dead. We destroyed Earth. You destroyed our home. You didn't destroy us. They brought Vexthal to New Haven in chains. Daejung met him in the interrogation room. The counselor looked around at the human colony with what might have been surprise. Impressive, Vexthal said. You've been hiding here all this time, building, planning, waiting for revenge. We want answers, Daejung said. Why did the Council destroy Earth? Because you were dangerous. Your species spread too quickly. You fought too much. The Council voted to eliminate the threat before it grew. Did you vote for it? Vexthal was quiet for a long moment. No, I voted against it. So did Counselor Mara and Counselor Thex. We were outvoted 3-2. Daejung felt his anger shift into something else. Confusion. You tried to save us? Some of us did, Vexthal said. The Council is not united. There are factions, disagreements. Counselors Cormac and Zenth wanted Earth destroyed. They falsified reports about human aggression. They made us seem like monsters. Why? That, Vexthal said, is the real question. And if you let me live, I'll help you find the answer. Daejung looked at the alien who had tried to save his species 3,000 years ago. Maybe not all council members were enemies. Maybe the real enemy was something else. Maybe revenge wasn't as simple as he thought. After 3,000 years in hiding, humans strike back at the council that destroyed Earth. The aftermath of the battle filled the void with debris and silence. Human ships floated among the wreckage, battered but victorious. They had lost 60 ships. 3,000 crew members would never see another sunrise. But humanity survived. Against impossible odds, they had won. Daejung stood in the command center of New Haven and watched the reports come in. The council fleet was withdrawing, leaving behind their captured High Chancellor. Across the galaxy, protests erupted on 100 worlds. Citizens demanded answers. They wanted justice for the crimes that had been hidden for millennia. Transmission coming in from deep space, Taemin said. You need to hear this. The message was old, traveling for years across the void. It came from a human generation ship, one of the vessels that had fled Earth 3,000 years ago. They had gone farther than anyone else beyond the edge of known space, and now they were finally returning home. But the message carried a warning. This is Captain Inha of the generation ship Far Horizon, the recording said. We encountered something out here. A species unlike anything in the council records. They call themselves the Volkreth. They are a hive mind. Billions of beings connected into one consciousness. And they are coming. They devour entire worlds, consuming everything in their path. We estimate they will reach council space in 10 years. Maybe less. Humanity needs to prepare. The galaxy needs to prepare. The council's wars with each other are nothing compared to what is coming. The message ended. Daejung looked at Hana, then at Taemin. 3,000 years of hiding, months of war, and now this. A new threat, bigger than anything they had faced before. We need to tell the council, Hana said. Will they listen? Taemin asked. We just fought a war against them. They'll listen, Daejung replied, because they have no choice. 3 days later, a summit was called. It took place on a neutral station, equidistant between Council Prime and the outer solar system. Representatives from every council species attended, and for the first time in 3,000 years, humans walked openly among the stars. Daejung led the human delegation. Beside him walked Bora, who had become humanity's chief diplomat. Vexthal accompanied them, his status as a counselor giving them legitimacy. Admiral Youngsik came as well, representing the military. The council chamber was massive, designed to hold representatives from dozens of species. When Daejung entered, every alien turned to stare. Some looked curious. Others looked hostile. But they all looked. High Chancellor Cormac was brought in next, held in restraints flanked by guards. He would stand trial for his crimes. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Counselor Mara spoke first. We are here to decide the fate of two beings, High Chancellor Cormac, who stands accused of genocide and conspiracy, and the human species, who have returned from extinction to demand justice. The trial took 3 days. Evidence was presented. Witnesses testified. Cormac tried to defend himself, claiming everything he did was for the good of the galaxy, but the proof was undeniable. He had ordered Earth's destruction to hide evidence of earlier genocides. He had lied to the Council. He had betrayed the trust of every species he claimed to protect. The verdict was unanimous. Guilty on all counts, but the question of punishment divided the Council. Some wanted execution. Others wanted imprisonment. The debate raged for hours. Finally, Daejung stood and spoke. 3,000 years ago, your High Chancellor murdered my world. He killed 7 billion people. He tried to exterminate my entire species. If anyone has the right to demand his death, it is humanity. The chamber fell silent. Everyone waited for Daejung to call for execution. But I will not, Daejung continued, because if we kill him, we become what he feared. We become the violent species he claimed we were. Justice is not revenge. Justice is ensuring this never happens again. I propose life imprisonment with one condition. Cormac must spend the rest of his life working to repair the damage he caused. He will help us rebuild Earth. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some aliens thought it was too merciful. Others thought it was appropriate. In the end, they voted. The sentence was approved. Cormac would spend the rest of his life in a prison on the moon, watching Earth heal from the wounds he had inflicted. With the trial concluded, the Council faced a bigger question. What would become of the council itself? The old system was broken. Trust was shattered. Too many secrets had been exposed. Counselor Mara proposed a solution. We dissolve the old council and create something new. A galactic assembly where every species has an equal voice, where decisions are made openly, not in secret, where genocide is impossible because every species watches over every other. And humanity? Another counselor asked. What is their place in this new assembly? They are founding members, Mara said. They earned that right by surviving what should have destroyed them. They earned it by choosing justice over revenge. The vote was close, but it passed. The council was dissolved. The Galactic Assembly was born. And humanity, after 3,000 years of hiding, took its place among the stars. But there was still work to do. Daejung shared the message from the far horizon. He told the assembly about the Volkreth, about the threat coming from beyond known space. For 3,000 years you fought among yourselves, Daejung said. You competed for resources. You argued over territory. You let fear and suspicion guide your decisions. But now there is something bigger than all of us. A species that sees every world as food, every civilization as something to consume. If we remain divided, the Volkreth will destroy us all. But if we stand together, if we combine our technology and knowledge and strength, we might survive. The assembly listened. For the first time, they truly listened to human words. Ships were dispatched to confirm the Far Horizon's report. Scientists began studying the data. Military planners started preparing defenses. The galaxy had 10 years to get ready for war, 10 years to unite against a common enemy. And at the center of it all was humanity, the species that refused to die. 6 months after the battle, Daejung stood on the surface of Earth for the first time in his life. The planet was still scarred, still damaged from the bombardment 3,000 years ago. The atmosphere was toxic. The oceans were poisoned, but it was healing. Hana had designed atmospheric processors that would take centuries to work, but they were working. Slowly, the air was becoming breathable. The radiation was fading. Life was returning to the dead world. Daejung wore an environment suit as he walked across the barren landscape. He came to a place that had once been a city, though nothing remained but fused glass and twisted metal. Here his ancestors had lived. Here they had died. He knelt and placed a small tree in the soil. It was a seedling, grown from seeds preserved by the original generation ships. An oak tree, one of Earth's native species. This is for them, Daejung said quietly. For everyone who died. For everyone who survived. For everyone who never stopped hoping we would return. Around him, representatives from a dozen species watched. They had come to witness this moment, the planting of the first tree on New Earth. It was symbolic, a promise that life would return to this world. Jiwoo stood nearby in her own environment suit. She had survived the battle and been promoted to training commander. Now she would teach the next generation of pilots how to defend not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. Admiral Young-sik was there too, though he had retired from active service. He spent his days now as an advisor to the assembly, helping different species learn to work together. Bora had become humanity's ambassador, traveling from world to world, building friendships and alliances. She had discovered that most species wanted peace. They had just needed someone to show them it was possible, and Myung worked with scientists from every species, studying the Volkreth threat. She had become an expert on the hive mind psychology, and her insights were helping the galaxy prepare for what was coming. The tree planting ceremony concluded. As everyone prepared to return to the orbital stations, Hana pulled Daejung aside. I have something to tell you, she said. Daejung looked at her. What is it? We're going to have a baby. For a moment, Daejung couldn't speak. A baby, a new life. The first child to be born into a galaxy where humans were no longer hunted, no longer hiding. He pulled Hana close and looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there among the stars, the Volkreth were coming. There would be more fighting, more sacrifices, more challenges to overcome. But for the first time in 3,000 years, humanity faced the future with allies beside them. They were no longer alone in the darkness. What should we name them? Hana asked. Daejung thought about everyone who had died so they could reach this moment. Taemin, who gave his life in battle. Jaehyun, who sacrificed himself to save the fleet. The thousands of humans who had lived and died in hiding, never seeing the stars. Hope, Daejung said. We'll name them Hope. The sun set over Earth, its light filtered through the toxic atmosphere, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. It would be centuries before Earth was truly healed, but the healing had begun. Humanity had hidden for 3,000 years. They had fought for their survival. They had struck back at those who tried to destroy them. After 3,000 years in hiding, humans strike back at the Council. That destroyed Earth. Dae-Jung stood in front of the Council of Elders and explained his plan. It was bold, maybe too bold, but Vexthal's information had changed everything. The Council isn't our only enemy, Dae-Jung said. According to Vexthal, there are factions within the Council itself. Some members voted to save Earth. Others pushed for our destruction. If we can expose the truth about what really happened, we can turn the galaxy against those who murdered our world. Elder Myung-Soo looked skeptical. And you trust this alien? He could be lying. Taemin verified his claims, Dae-Jung replied. We hacked into the Council archives. The vote records are real. 3 councilors wanted Earth destroyed. 2 voted to save us. The decision was hidden from the public. So what do you propose? Elder Bokyung asked. We send an envoy. Make contact with the species who voted to save us. Build alliances. Break the Council from within. The elders debated for hours. Finally, they voted. The plan was approved. Now they needed someone brave enough to walk into enemy territory and negotiate with aliens who might kill them on sight. Bo-Ra volunteered immediately. She was a diplomat, trained in alien languages and customs. She had studied the Council her whole life, preparing for the day when humans might rejoin galactic civilization. She never imagined it would happen like this. You'll take Vexthal with you, Dae-Jung said. He'll make the introductions. But Bo-Ra, if this goes wrong, if they try to capture you, our ships will pull you out. You won't die alone out there, Bo-Ra smiled. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of living in hiding forever. She left New Haven on a small diplomatic shuttle with Vexthal and 2 guards. Their destination was Velkar Prime, homeworld of the Velkar species. According to Vexthal, the Velkar councilor had voted to save Earth. Maybe they would listen. The journey took 3 weeks. When they arrived in Velkar space, military ships surrounded them immediately. Bo-Ra's hands shook as she opened communications. This is Bo-Ra of the human colonies. I request an audience with your planetary council. I bring proof that our species was wrongly destroyed. There was a long silence. Then a response came in broken human language. Humans extinct. You are fake. Surrender now or we destroy you. Vexthal took over the communication. This is Counselor Vexthal. I vouch for these humans. Let us land. What I have to say will interest your leaders very much. The Velkar ships hesitated. Then slowly, they formed an escort and guided the shuttle to the planet's surface. While Bo-Ra worked on building alliances, Hyunwoo launched a different kind of attack. He was humanity's propaganda specialist and his weapons were truth and information. Working from a hidden broadcast station, Hyunwoo hacked into the Council's public networks. He uploaded files that Taemin had stolen from the archives, videos of the vote to destroy Earth, records showing how the decision was hidden from the public, evidence that billions of innocent humans had been murdered based on lies. The broadcast went out across 100 worlds. Citizens of the Council species watched in shock as the truth unfolded on their screens. Many had never heard of Earth. Most didn't know their leaders had committed genocide. The revelation caused protests on a dozen planets. On Velkar Prime, Bo-Ra met with the Planetary Council. They were skeptical at first, but Vexthal's presence gave her credibility. She showed them the evidence. She told them about the hidden colonies, about 3,000 years of survival, about the desire for justice, not revenge. The Council lied to everyone, Bo-Ra said. They told you Earth was destroyed because humans were violent. But the real reason was different. We discovered something the Council wanted to hide. What did you discover? The Velkar Prime Minister asked. We found evidence of Council war crimes on other worlds, species that were wiped out before us. Entire civilizations erased from history. Earth wasn't the first genocide. We were just the most recent. Vexthal nodded. She speaks the truth. I've seen the same evidence. Counselors Cormac and Zenth have been covering up atrocities for millennia. Earth discovered their crimes, so they eliminated the witnesses. The Velkar leaders looked at each other. Their species had always been uncomfortable with Council policies. They had been conquered and absorbed into the Council centuries ago, their independence stripped away. Now they learned their rulers were mass murderers. What do you want from us? The Prime Minister asked Bora. Alliance. Help us expose the truth. Stand with us when we confront the Council. You don't have to fight. Just refuse to support them. That will be enough. The Velkar debated for 2 days. Finally, they agreed. It was a secret alliance, one that would remain hidden until the right moment. But it was a start. Back in the solar system, Admiral Young-Sik prepared for war. He commanded humanity's main battle fleet, 200 ships built in secret over 3,000 years. Each one incorporated technology the Council had never seen. Quantum drives that could fold space, energy shields that bent physics, weapons that could crack a moon in half. Young-Sik was a stern man, older than most commanders, with gray hair and scars from training accidents. He had never seen real combat. No living human had, but he had studied every battle the Council had ever fought. He knew their tactics, their weaknesses, their habits. The fleet is ready, Young-Sik reported to Daejong. All ships armed and crewed. We can deploy in 6 hours if needed. Hold position, Daejong said. We're not ready for open war yet. Bora needs more time to build alliances. And if the Council attacks first, then we defend ourselves. But we don't strike the first blow. Not yet. Taemin worked day and night in the intelligence center monitoring Council communications. What he discovered made his blood run cold. Daejong, you need to see this, Taemin said urgently. He played an intercepted transmission. It was High Chancellor Cormac speaking to the Council Military Command. The ghost attacks on our installations are not equipment failures. We are under attack by an unknown force. I am declaring a state of emergency. All hegemony fleet units are to begin full mobilization. We will find these attackers and eliminate them. He knows, Daejong said quietly. Worse than that, Taemin pulled up another file. He's issued orders to investigate the outer solar system. He suspects the attacks are coming from here. We have maybe 2 months before they find us. Daejong called an emergency meeting of all human leaders. They gathered in virtual reality, their holographic forms tense and worried. We're out of time, Daejong said. The Council is mobilizing. They're looking for us. We need to move faster. Bora has secured an alliance with the Velkar, Elder Myungsu said. That's one species. We need more. Hyunwoo's broadcasts have caused protests on multiple worlds, Hana added. Public opinion is turning against the Council. But it's not enough to stop their military, Young-Sik spoke up. If they're mobilizing, we should strike now. Hit them before they're ready. And start a war we might lose? Elder Bokyung shook her head. We need more allies first. Jiwoo had been quiet during the meeting. Now she spoke up. What if we give them a reason to fight each other? The Council species already don't trust each other. We've been making them paranoid with our ghost attacks. What if we push them over the edge? Mi-young understood immediately. Make them think one of the Council species is attacking the others. Frame them for our attacks. It's risky, Daejong said. If it fails, we unite them against us. If we do nothing, they unite against us anyway, Jiwoo replied. They voted. The plan was approved. Over the next month, humanity escalated its attacks. But now each attack was designed to look like it came from a different Council species. Ships disappeared near Krill territory. Stations exploded with Vex weapon signatures. Mining operations were raided using Thexian tactics. The Council began to fracture. Species accused each other of treachery. Old rivalries resurfaced. Some Council military commanders refused orders, claiming their loyalty was to their species, not to the Council. And through it all, Hyunwoo's broadcasts continued. The truth about Earth. The evidence of genocide. The proof that the Council leadership was corrupt. Then came the moment Daejong had been waiting for. Councillor Mara, who had voted to save Earth 3,000 years ago, made a public statement. She called for High Chancellor Cormac to resign. She demanded an investigation into the destruction of Earth. She said the Council had lost its way. Half the Council species supported her, half supported Cormac. The galaxy stood on the edge of civil war, and in his command center on Council Prime, High Chancellor Cormac made his decision. He would not resign. He would not face investigation. Instead, he would do what he should have done 3,000 years ago. He ordered the complete mobilization of the hegemony fleet. 10,000 warships. The largest military force ever assembled. Their target, the outer solar system. Their mission, find the humans and finish what was started millennia ago. Total extermination.